Bruce said in the beginning that he was going to do this section. In fact, I'm going to do events and then pass over to him to do projects. Events, yes. Well, this is a beautiful photograph. Thank you, Steve, for this. This is a photograph of the open day in 2018. And I'm sure you agree with me that gatherings of people unconcerned about keeping 6 feet apart seem like a distant memory. But it hasn't just been coronavirus that has stopped our events. Last August, as I'm sure you remember, it began raining. That's a lovely shot, isn't it? It was worth getting absolutely soaked through to get that picture, looking down over, sun rising over the roundhouse. And it really didn't stop raining from August through until April. By Christmas, by mid-December, the ground was too wet for our usual Christmas fundraising event to take place. We just couldn't afford to have cars on the grass or indeed to put up the marquees. Thank you to everyone who donated mince pies and other Christmas fare. Some of that was used on Christmas Day when David and I held our usual Christmas morning presents at Sunrising with coffee and mince pies, and some went to food banks. So thank you for your support. It was a shame to have to cancel. The event that we did manage to hold was our quiz night in Tyso Village Hall just before lockdown in mid-March. This is a photograph of the proceedings, and thank you very much to Dave, the quizmaster, and our trustee Jane for all her hard work, and indeed to all the volunteers who helped out in one way or another, setting up tables, putting things together, and thank you to each and every one of you who came along on the evening. It was a really successful evening, full of laughter and companionship, and I'm sure we all learnt something as well. And it brought in a good amount. Here you can see it raised over £700. That was from ticket sales and the raffle. Even though we did provide you with a wonderful feast, it's always lovely when people appreciate and give good feedback about the food, and some lovely Spanish wine and beer and things like that. We are looking at a possible quiz online in the spring if lockdown or travel restrictions continue. But we would very much like to do another one in the village hall because it was so much fun, perhaps in 2022. Then lockdown came, and slowly we cancelled events until eventually we decided to cancel all the events for the rest of the year. Our open day was the first casualty. Although this is usually held as part of our music recital, this year we had decided to split them up, allowing the open day to focus solely on people who were coming to learn about sunrising. And with that, we had plans to do quite a lot with dying matters and their material, leaflets, and supporting material for those facing grief and going through grief. It's a national charity, and we will be doing more with dying matters in the future. There would have been a refreshment stall raising money for the Friends. So in terms of the Friends, apart from the lack of support in terms of the community that we had to lose by cancelling the day, we also lost some on fundraising. And that music event for 2020, which we'd split up from the open day, was another of our Jazz in the Roundhouse events. These are usually important fundraisers, our music events. Although it's free for people to come along, the funds come from the refreshment stall, laden as they are with cakes made by, provided by and sold by wonderful Friends volunteers, and of course bought and eaten by all of you. We hope this isn't outright cancelled, but postponed. The band were very sweet and didn't insist on taking some money for the cancellation. They just hope that they can come along next year or perhaps the year after. To have Jazz in the Roundhouse is always a wonderful afternoon. This is another event that is definitely postponed rather than cancelled. It will be held, we hope, in August 2021. Peter Cranswick, a renowned naturalist of Slimbridge Wildfowl Trust, so difficult to say that, Wildfowl Trust, will be along to give a short talk in the village hall, followed by a guided moth night at sunrising. Some of you can come around with me and my bat detector, and some will go from moth trap to moth trap, where the moth experts will be finding the moths, identifying them and letting them go. Although not a fundraising event as such events are really important as part of the nature reserve and sunrising community involvement. This pale egger moth on the silver birch is a fantastic photograph, isn't it? Taken by Alan Pryor. AGM 2020, Saturday the 5th of December is today, and we should, of course, as Bruce said, be in the village hall face to face. But we're here on Zoom, but part of what we couldn't do was the Warwickshire Wildlife Trust talk that we had scheduled for after the AGM presentation. We do hope that we'll be able to reschedule that for another year. What kind of talk we schedule for after the AGM each year, or indeed for another gathering in the village hall or elsewhere, if and when we have more face-to-face gatherings, is an interesting question. We have had talks on owls, on bees, on funeral celebrancy, and on sunrising itself, on the creation of the nature reserve, on sunrising at 10 years. If any of you have any thoughts of what you'd like for talks in the future, do let me know. We'd be interested to find out what's popular, and we'll do what we can to get people in. Our planting weekend. This is an event that we feel we can manage, and we can do so ensuring that you are all safe. It will be a booking basis with pre-orders rather than just turning up as usual. So you will need to let me know what you want and book in a particular slot. Don't worry about remembering the dates now. You will be informed by email or keep in touch with the website events page. This is a fundraising event, only in that we have Friends products on sale. And here you can see Bruce with our stall, but also volunteers, friends who are helping out on the day. We have 200 or 300 perennials, 2,000 or 3,000 bulbs, all native wild flowers. And we encourage families to come and to buy them for putting on and around the burial areas, on around graves. But the more families are able to plant successfully, the more wildflowers actually come through, and the wildflowers then bring in the bees and the insects and butterflies and so on. So if you are a gardener and you feel like coming along to help other families planting, or to be a part of the day, then please do get in touch. Again, information will be out in our September newsletter and be on the website. Here you've got red campion, the native wild daffodil, the Lenten lily, the simple snowdrop, and here you've got field scabious. Given that the pandemic is expected to peak again, perhaps in the winter, we have cancelled our mulled wine and mince pies event for this year as well. It may be that we work out a different way of doing such events, where you feel safe, we feel safe, if the world doesn't go back to what it was. But at the moment, we're feeling the need to take it slowly, to make sure our decisions are right, for sunrising and for you, the sunrising community, particularly given that a lot of our community are over 60 and in vulnerable groups. While we have in the past made money from Wreaths, last year we simply guided you to our list of approved florists, those who understand that we will not accept any kind of floral tribute that we cannot entirely compost. So we do have problems in the past. We have had problems with Christmas wreaths. Imported wreaths made with lots of plastics, made with foam, made with wire, made with glitter, made with painted wood, all these things which are not compostable and in some cases are just toxic. We do have a list of approved florists who can create beautiful Christmas wreaths based on nothing but straw, woven wood, ivy and the like. And if you go to our website, you can actually just put into Google floral tributes sunrising, or have a look through the natural burial ground tab and you'll see our floral tributes page. It's not just for wreaths, but for all floral tributes. And please remember, we don't want any flowers with plastic oasis, glitter, paint, wire, please. Thank you.